and welcome to the Rag Company DETALKSCAST. That's where we talk to people in the industry who either do cool detailing stuff or have cool products and get to know them a little bit better. So, you know what? I'm going to let Levi take this one away. Let's have Levi.
Well, I'm just gonna give this one to Anthony because
man, we're just playing around
Anthony
the horn.
is the one who. So, full
right,
props.
yeah.
Anthony is the one that brought this to us.
Yep.
I didn't know about our guest. I didn't know about this product, and Anthony had a situation in which he needed something that would work in the clutch.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this is when I would actually give the baton off to Brian, who is actually who actually started this all for me. But okay, guys. So with us today we have Jace Price of the last detail, the last cut. He is
Out of Las Vegas.
Down in Las Vegas. He is the creator of this new compound that we are about to start carrying, and we are super excited about it. So to give you guys a little bit of background on this product, if you guys watched my 500K detail video where I was polishing up the 65 GT350, I came across a situation on one of the cars where the product I was using wasn't working for me, and I needed to find something else in a clutch moment. I needed something that day.
You were like, this isn't working. What am I going to do?
Yes, I was on a time frame. A friend Brian, who is a detailer over at Gearhead Detailing here in Boise, told me to come down to his shop and pick up some stuff that he had. And I was like, okay, who makes it? What's the brand? He's like, a guy makes it, he's down in Las Vegas. It's just kind of his own thing. And I'm like, Brian, I don't know if I can risk that on a $500,000 car. And he's like, just trust me on this. He's like, come down here, pick it up. It's like some blue stuff. It's awesome. And I'm over here thinking like it's some Walter White situation where I'm going down to pick up some blue stuff in a bottle, and I don't know what he's talking about. But I drive down, I pick it up. I do a test spot on my car, and I was blown away at the results I got with a one-step polished, one-step compound. And I looked at the finish, and it was amazing. So I pretty much jumped in, did a test spot in the GT350, and I knew that was the compound. That's what I wanted to use on that car. I had insane results. It was what saved the day for me. It saved that detail for me, and in my future details, it's all I've been using. So with us today, we have Jace Price. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Thought I'd give him a proper introduction here. So, anyways, so Jace, you're down in Las Vegas. Tell us a little bit how you started the last cut, how you started detailing.
Yeah, let's start with detailing, and then let's talk about what kind of led you into the last cut. So.
Yeah, back in the day, I've always been the person to detail my car myself, and I always thought I was doing something great, until I finally moved to Vegas here. And a friend of mine, Michael Plosser, he got with me and was like, oh, hey, do you actually do detail? I'm like, yeah, I do detailing. And he was like, okay, so you should probably come by my house one day and we'll talk. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll swing by. So I went to his house, and he opened his garage, and there was a plethora of detailing products. At a time, when I thought I was doing something, I only had 4 products maybe, and he had at least 50. So I'm like, okay, I guess I have no idea about anything about detailing, so where do I start? He's like, all right, buddy, there we go.
You admitted that you didn't know.
It's the first step.
Yep. Yeah, so that was a moment of truth that where I was like, all right, I know nothing about detailing, so I need to get myself together. So he gave me a recommendation for a cheap polisher to buy, some compound and all that stuff, and I just bought a older BMW, and he's like, perfect canvas, just try what I've told you on this paint and see if you can bring it back to life. So that started the whole process of paint correction, and it took me I put about 80 hours of practice into just one vehicle trying to get it to where it needed to be. And I finally got done. I showed some people at work how it looked, and they saw it before I did the paint correction. They saw it afterwards and like, okay, let me know where you got it painted, because it didn't look like that before you before you started. So I'm like, paint correction, and I showed them the whole process of what I did. So that started me doing people at work, vehicles, and it went from me doing 1 car a month to 2 cars a month, details for $150, 12-hour details for $150, just to get, experience.
Cutting your teeth.
Yeah, and I was really trying to build my portfolio. I was just doing it for basically nothing, and over time, it just became, it was a hobby, and then it basically took my life over, really, so I ended up, doing quite a bit of paint correction, and that's mainly what I specialize in, is paint correction. And, I'm one of those people who would keep trying for something better, and I kept testing different products, trying to see exactly, what will be the best for me in Las Vegas, because it's a little bit hotter, the climate's a little bit different. So I kept trying to find products that worked for me in every situation, and that was a problem that I had. There was never one product that worked for every situation I had. So I was always bouncing back and forth, 4 or 5 different compounds to get one job done. So that is what really started my whole drive to develop a compound, was because, other products in the market, they were good, yes, but there were just some issues that, myself and other detailers have that wasn't being satisfied. So I took it upon myself and searched for a chemist, and this is what you see on the desk right now, is the last cut.
Yeah, very cool.
And when did you start formulating this or playing with this and testing and doing stuff?
Because this wasn't the first batch that was ever created, right? You went through a lot of different steps and prototypes, right?
Oh yes, yeah. So my whole search for a chemist, started about a year and a half ago, and it took me about 4 months, trying to find someone that wasn't already in the mainstream, and I didn't want to relabel another product. I wanted something different. I wanted something that would stand out from the rest, not something that someone was already stuck in their way and they were gonna keep doing what they have been doing, developing products.
Yeah.
So I narrowed it down to about 3 different chemists, and I gave them all a list, like, this is exactly what I want. I want, the long work time, heavy defect removal, low dust. I want, it has to have a long work time, because that was one of the main issues that I was having here in Vegas with it being so hot. So I gave them a list of stuff that I wanted, and they all sent me their samples, and they all swore that it was the best ever, and it was exactly what I wanted, and I will go nowhere else. This is it. So I picked the best one, and I had to break it to them nicely that the compound was not where it needed to be.
Yeah.
So I had to break it. I had to play nice, because it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So we have a good base, and now we're gonna just make some revisions, over time. So it was a 10-month period. We made a few revisions, and I just kept testing. I was working 140 hours a week, just testing.
Man.
Against all the top manufacturers on in the market. Other ones that I looked up to before, or others that were my go-to products. For most situations, I tested against all of them, and I didn't stop and say, this was good enough to put my name on the bottle until I felt like it beat every last one of them.
Yeah.
So after that last revision, and I tested it, I'm like, you know what? I couldn't stop smiling. I'm like, this might really be it, because I was initially going to keep it for myself. I also wanted something that worked, for myself.
Yeah.
And then after testing, I sent it out to some other, top detailers in the U.S. and I was getting the same feedback that I was, thinking, as I used it. So like, maybe I might be onto something for real, and I probably should share it if it's, as good as I really think it is, and not be selfish, and keep it all to myself. So after that final revision, and I kept getting good feedback from all the other professional detailers, and sent it out to Richard Lynn, Michelle Homier, quite a few top guys, and they were like, it's actually pretty solid. So I'm like, you know what? I guess I'll take a shot and see what happens. So basically, all the money that I made from regular detailing over the years is what I put back into developing this product, because it was quite
that's cool.
It was quite expensive, to start.
Yeah.
So I basically use the revenue for my slaving in the garage for 21 hours per day.
Yeah.
Just knock cars out to put back into this product to put what you see on your desk right now into
awesome,
play.
Man. That's awesome.
So,
Well, based on the experience Anthony's had with it, it's clear that it's some really good stuff.
No, it's good. I mean, it's like, I don't really know how to explain it. I mean, coming from a guy, like, I haven't been in the detailing industry, as long as Levi has, but, I'm used to a lot of the new products, and I'm trying to stay relevant on what everybody's using nowadays. I mean, that's kind of part of our job. We have to stay new, and we have to stay the next best thing because technology has advanced in so many other ways. I mean, think about all the people that are still trying to wrap their head around a no-rinse solution, And so, like I said, I try to stay relevant with all the new and latest stuff. That's part of our job. Like, that's what we do every day. We sit on Reddit, we sit on Facebook, we sit on all these things, and we check out all these new postings of new products, and we try to stay as updated as possible. And so, like I said, when I used this product, it really was everything that I wanted in a compound. It's everything that I wanted because the biggest thing is that I'm one of those guys to where if I don't see results on that first pass, it's always going to be a two-step process for me. I'm always two-stepping everything, and I see a lot of people that have one-step results, and I replicate a lot of things that they do, and I'm still not satisfied at those results. I want something better than that, and so I was getting that with a one-step polish, with a one-step compound. I was getting the results that I wanted initially, but then if I took it to the next level and did a two-step, and let's just say I cut with a microfiber cutting pad and the last cut, and then I finished with hyper polish and an orange pad or a black pad, I was so happy with my results that it was insane. It almost looked like I had wet sanded that panel with the results I was getting from that. And so that's just how good this stuff is, and the long working time was amazing. I love that I can spray O&R to add additional working time and not just supplement like a couple extra passes. I'm talking like supplement an extra whole
you had a lot of time
few minutes to work that product in.
That video, the 500K detail, for those curious, they can check that out where it's actually being used, and you can see firsthand the kind of difference it makes.
Exactly.
Well, and one of the fun things is, Jace, we have hoods here that we play with and do fun stuff on. And when we had David Patterson here, we made some videos with us polishing some hoods that we found at a junkyard. And that was the first thing I did when Anthony came in. He was literally just like our What the Foam video.
Yeah.
He came running to my office like, check this out. Have you seen this? We got it. And I was like, let's go downstairs. Let's do it. And we even wet sanded a panel.
Yeah.
Got it down to, we did 1,500 and 3,000 grit.
Yeah.
And cut it out with a microfiber, and I did all variations. I used an orange pad. I used a blue HDO. I used all different versions, and I was like, yeah, dude, this stuff's dope.
Yeah.
So,
he wanted to be left alone. I was kind of watching over
yeah,
him.
he was saying, I'm like, get out of here.
He had his headphones in. He's like, hey, Anthony, I'm testing to see if you're really full of it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll let you go. And then
I'm going to do some stuff and see if I can get it.
He confirms. He's like, yeah, this is really good. This is really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's perfect for us, especially here at the Rag Company. It's great for him. We want to give this product more exposure. We want to do a lot of marketing with it. Yep. But also, we liked having it around here because, we as everybody knows, we carry Optimum, and we love the Optimum lineup. But there's no such thing as, one size fits all. There's always going to be different variations of paint, different variations of temperature, color. Everything makes a play in the detailing world. So we needed something that maybe was different than the Optimum stuff, and it's different. It has some similarities to some of the Optimum products that I absolutely love, but it is a different product, and it is awesome.
It seems like this is kind of your fail-safe.
Right,
like,
and also the other thing, Jace has been using Lake Country pads with the product, which we carry, so it makes it fit, and he's been using our towels.
Yeah.
Previously, you were using Eagle.
Jace, what
towels in the market.
what towel do you think is the best towel for removing the last cut, in your opinion?
Yeah, honestly, the Eagle Edgeless is the one I mainly use.
Yeah.
For removal.
Yeah.
And
Another Eagle fan.
That's really my go-to from day one. That's really all I've been using.
Yeah.
From day one. So I'm like, well, it fits perfect. I mean, I should probably. The thing is, everyone kept asking me what towels I need to use, with the product. So I got tired of answering, this one, that one, or sending links to everyone. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it, and put it on my website. That way I can say, just go to my website and get the towels on my website.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was constantly telling everyone this one, that one, this one, that one. So the easiest way out was to just put it on my website. That way everyone can just go there and get the best towel on the market.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So it slots in real well with our current lineup. The same stuff that Jace is using to make this product do all its magic is the same stuff we're already carrying.
Yeah.
So we also, plus we got to hang out with Jace in Vegas at SEMA.
Yeah.
And needless to say, we fell in love with you, dude. So we had a lot of fun, and we left, and we were talking about all the stuff our plans for the year and what we were doing, and you were at the top of the list of one of the things we wanted to do. So
so thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And so we'll have this by the time you're hearing this will be live on our site.
Yep.
So you can pick this up. You can go on the site. We currently have
the
16-ounce bottles to start, which is these guys, and that's what we're going to be using for now. If you guys want the 32-ounce, send us a request.
Yep.
Enough people ask. I mean, yeah.
This fits right in line. We don't sell gallons of compound already, but if a customer falls in love with this and they want more, then we will definitely help you guys.
They get a few friends on board, and next thing you know, I mean, hey.
Well, and as much as Anthony fell in love with this, I mean, you went out and bought your own bottle right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
A 32-ounce bottle.
No, Well,
almost ready for your next one.
I had to. I mean, that's what I was saying. I didn't want to be caught in another situation where I was, I had a limited selection of compounds and stuff like that I knew may or may not work, because the biggest thing for me, though, is that I make a mess. I make messes. That's just things I do. I'm a creative person. I make messes pretty much wherever I go. And
he's an enthusiast.
When I'm detailing, I still make messes. It just happens. And so for me, I'm that unlucky guy where I'm working like 105, for example, and I somehow tilt my pad up at a weird angle and then just dust. It's just like it snowed all over, a side of the car that I just got done correcting. And I know there's definitely ways to reduce that.
And you don't have compressed air with you.
And I don't have compressed air with me because I'm typically doing mobile jobs. And so, this is like a necessity for me now when I'm going out and when I'm doing a job. This is what, I will go to if the least aggressive method won't work first. I would happy to move up to this because, Jace, if you want to touch up on this compound is also really dependent on what kind of pad you use as far as your level of aggressiveness, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so one of the main things I wanted to focus on with the product was versatility. I mean, there is never a perfect situation. So for me personally, even when I went on mobile jobs, I used to have to take a whole bunch of pads and compounds with me just to make sure I had everything for the job. But in this case, because it has diminishing abrasives, you can use it with a finishing pad. You can use it with a foam polishing pad. You can use it with a foam cut pad. You can use it with a microfiber cut pad. You can use it with a wool pad. So depending on what situation you're in and the paint, type you're working on, if it's a classic, if it's something super rare or something really delicate, or just a paint that's just really beat up, I mean, you can step to a wool pad and work it through and get great finishing because it's diminishing. Yep. Or if you need less aggression, step down to a microfiber pad and you still get your cut and still get great finishing if your paint is hard enough. Yeah. And if you run into softer paint, then you use a foam pad and finish with a polishing pad. So it's really it's really
versatile and it's efficient.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
It makes so that translates to you guys that are listening. It'll make you more money.
Yeah,
because
it'll make you more money.
You're not chasing your tail, so to speak.
Well, for an example, right? That detail job I was doing, the one that I initially started this on, I was using hyper polish, and I was using intensive polish, and I was trying to incorporate hyper compound into this job. I had been using that, and that's kind of what I was going with. It was a Sunday, I think it was a Sunday morning around 10 o'clock. I had until Sunday afternoon to finish this vehicle, and I had only gotten done with the front fender, the hood, the front fenders and the hood. And I still wasn't super happy with the results that I got from those. When I picked up this stuff from Brian, right, I finished that car by that afternoon, right?
You were moving.
And had time to spare. I'm talking great results. Scan grip results is what, I was using scan grips. I had insane results, insane clarity, insane gloss, lots of depth, especially when I topped it with, I think that one was Optimum Car Wax is what I did. And just, outstanding.
It looked awesome.
Yeah. So very efficient stuff.
So we like it. Yeah. And then the best part about the no dusting, most people don't seem to remember. I've been in this industry for 20 years, and most compounds always heavily dusted.
Yeah.
The problem is those compounds in the compound, the particulates, can, when you're rotoring with wool and you got a compound, you're blowing that dust going everywhere, you're breathing those in.
Known to the state of California to cause cancer.
Yeah, and for guys that have been in it as long as me, that's not a good thing.
No, if you're doing this day in, day out, 40 hours a week,
cars every day for, at least 15 years with a rotary and wool.
Yeah.
And
so you're already done for.
Yeah, basically. So for me, one of the biggest things is to find products that, one, are super safe and easy to use. They're safe on your person as well. So
always important.
That's another big selling point. Again, you're not making that mess. But then you're also not breathing in those products.
Exactly. A very, very, very important part of that.
It's not because my voice doesn't sound like this. Just a little bit of phlegm. It's not because of the silicate.
He's just a little sick right now. That's all.
No, but I mean, and another thing too is that this is another product for mobile detailers. I have used this in direct sunlight. I know every product says you shouldn't use product in direct sunlight. I have, and it still works. So that's, it's awesome. I used it in beating, I think it was like 95 degree day. I don't know how hot it gets down in Las Vegas, but I'm assuming
hotter
You're talking hundreds, man.
And so, if Jace, you want to touch up on temperature-wise, like what have you kind of experimented with so people know that are down in the south and stuff?
Yeah. So I've been outside in the direct sunlight at 110 degrees to see exactly what it did.
Yeah.
And it still worked.
Yeah.
I even sent some to Hawaii, and Joey Love, he was the one doing a job, I guess, outside, and he had to do it in the sunlight as well. He's like, yeah, man, like it worked. It still worked. And I've had numerous mobile details as well, that had to work in the direct sunlight, and they still had success with the product. So it definitely, I initially said no using direct sunlight just to cover my butt.
Yeah,
it does work. It does work.
Yeah, there's always that variable that's going to hit that you don't plan for, especially if you're in a mobile setting.
Somebody will discover a limitation at some point. It's like, that's way beyond the means of what you need. So.
Well, you set up your tent and the car is shaded and you're working around it, and all of a sudden you can't move that car. You can't move the
sun finds
tent.
just the right angle.
Yeah. So it's nice to be able to not stop you.
Yeah, you're exactly
while you wait for the sun to move out of the way.
Yeah. One other thing I did want to touch up on too is that I do recommend people tape up their trim and tape up everything like that. I will admit I have lived dangerously, and I have used this product without taping up anything, and I've hit and trim. I've hit trim. I've hit door handles. I've hit matte black finishes. I simply wiped it. I've checked back weeks later, and I never had any issues with the abrasives causing white,
discoloration,
discoloration or anything like that. And I can't say that for every job. Because I don't know what products you're using, and I don't want to say that for everybody. But I'm saying that that for me was really important because, like I said, sometimes I'm pretty messy. Sometimes I get a little clumsy, and I might get some compound and things on random trim that I don't need to. I'll wipe it. I'll come back later and I'll see big old white mark on there that I have to, solution finish or, use Maguire's 40 on. So this is something I haven't had to do, but what's your experience, Jace, with, do you always recommend taping off the trim, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would always recommend taping the trim.
Okay.
Personally, because it's just better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
But I have done tests to check for staining as well. But because the product is mainly water-based, every trim that I've tested it on just to see if it would stain or not, just a quick spritz of distilled water on the Eagle edgeless towel and a light wipe will get it all up. Cool. So I really haven't had any issues where it just completely stained the trim and it just would not come out.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I didn't leave it overnight or any crazy extended period of time to see if it did stain it, but
I think water-based helps.
Yeah.
The longest I've gone with it on the trim was about an hour, and it came right up, no issues.
Yeah.
So with a quick spritz of distilled water and edgeless towel, and you're good to go.
Sweet.
Yeah. I think that's really important. Another thing too, for those guys that are using hybrids out there, I use the hybrid a lot in the 500K detail. I mean a lot. I mean a lot. I was really pushing that machine to its limits.
People look, what do you use that thing for? You found like every way to use it.
Yeah, no, I love the hybrid.
Especially when you're doing classics.
I'm using it a ton. And that product, because no fling and because of very minimal to no dusting, it was perfect on the iBrid, especially on the smallest little 1.5-inch pad that I had, because if you guys have tried it, if you've put 105 or 205 on one of those pads, you'll know that because of the way those iBrid pads are and the way that cell foam structure is, you'll get some fling, right? The second you turn that thing off, you'll get some type of fling and you'll make a mess. The last cut did not do that. It was perfect for that, and I like it because it provided me with a more aggressive cut for such a smaller little machine for when I am doing the pillars and when I am doing things that I don't want to have to go over, 20 times.
Well, some of the positions you get yourself in, it's like you don't want to sit there forever.
No, I mean, it gets uncomfortable, and so I mean, for people that like using the little green Rupes pad that comes on the foam, this stuff is awesome with that. Or if you have your own little hole punch or your pad punch and you're using Lake Country microfiber, little 1.5-inch pads, those work amazing as well. So you are doing you do a lot of detailing on the side. What's your full-time gig? Like, give some people a little bit more about you, so they have a little bit of an idea.
Yeah, so I'm active duty military. So I've been in the Air Force for 15 years now. Well, almost 15 years. So that is what I do during the day, and then I get off work and then I detail until 2-3 in the morning, and then I start the product distribution, contracts and whatever I need to package orders and all that stuff till about 3-4 in the morning, and then I take a 3-4 hour nap and back to work.
Man, he's on that. He's an animal. He's on that wolf schedule. You know what I mean? He sleeps for just a little bit and goes for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I probably should hire some help, but I'm the type of person where if I can do it, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
And with the product right now in its early stages, I like to keep tabs on what's happening with the product, to be able to answer questions and make sure everything is solid and off on the right foot before I can trust someone else to represent my name, basically.
Absolutely,
yeah.
No, that's
so
totally.
I'm just stubborn. I probably should. I mean, my wife does help me quite a bit, with packaging orders and all that type of stuff. Sometimes the kids help a little bit. But my wife does definitely help me, to get stuff in order and keep me in check as well. Hey, you need to make an order. Like, oh, you're running low. You need to do this.
Yeah.
So she does help me, quite a bit in the journey. But yeah, I try to do most of everything by myself because I want to keep that connection with all of my customers and making sure the name stays true to what it does.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm using it correctly. Because I know a lot of people had issues with well, not a lot, but maybe 1 or 2 had issues with the cut of it, because they were using it as not like a non-diminishing abrasive compound.
Right.
So it would apply it to the pad and then bump it up to speed 5 right away and then start working.
Yeah.
But because it's diminishing, you need to get it over the work area before you bump it up.
Yeah, it's got to get to temp
speed. Yeah, so you need to get the abrasives over the area working first before you bump it up to your correction speed. So just small stuff like that, I wanted to make sure I had a hand on to where I can say, you know what, you're doing this wrong, or you need to bump your speed up just a little bit, because some people try to cut on speed 3. I'm like, no, you need to bump it up to, maybe 4.5, 5, 5.5 sometimes, depending on how hard the paint is. So I just like to have, a hand right now in the early stages to make sure the product gets, the recognition it needs and the results that it's expected to get.
Very good. Yep. So another question for you, for the people that I guarantee some people are probably going to be picking this stuff up, as this video, goes live. So for reference though, when they pick up this product, how do you recommend applying it to the pad? Because there's people that like to do, the little pea-sized drops. There's people that like to swirl it. There's people that like to spread it in with their hands. What's your experience and how do you like to use it?
Yeah, for me personally, I would generally use maybe 4 or 5 pea-sized drops. Okay. And if it's a harder paint, then I may add 1 more just to get a little extra cut initially. But generally I'm not a huge primer. I rather put it to put dots strategically on the pad to get proper coverage once you start working.
Yeah.
So it's really up to personal preference. Okay. Priming doesn't hurt at all. You can still prime, but essentially you may end up wasting some product if you prime, because the product is so lubricated. It doesn't need as much priming to get the pad going.
Very true. Yeah. I did like priming my microfiber pads when I was using it on the cutting pads. I did like spreading my drops, but then just with a little rubber glove, I kind of put my rubber glove on and kind of wipe that into the fibers themselves, and then I knew that that was good to go right off the bat. Same thing with the hybrid and things like that, where I wanted to prevent any product. I don't want to waste any of this stuff. Like, it's good stuff. I don't want to waste it. Like, I joke around that, once my, bottle's done, I'm going to start scraping out what's left of it with a spoon or something like that.
That is actually the way you should do
it. Use it to the last drop, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially if you're running a shop, that adds up.
Yeah, I've even added, maybe even 7 or 8 drops on the first pass, just to, if it's really finicky paint, I add maybe 8 drops for the first time using the pad, just to aid priming, and bump it down to 3 or 4 dots afterwards, just to get going.
Yeah.
So it's really personal preference, but it'll work any way you want to do it.
Exactly, and I thought that it was really nice when I was using the pad washer, the Lake Country pad washer. I had no issues cleaning out the pads. I'm talking the pads didn't get built up, they didn't get gunked up. Heat was kept in super low, and that's what was amazing for me, because when I did that 500K detail, it was a hot day outside, and we were in the garage, and it was a warm day, and I didn't have any issues with overheating. I was feeling the pad constantly because, like I said, this was one of my first times using this, and I wanted to make sure.
And you're working on a very not cheap car.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't getting too hot, and I was amazed that whenever I'd pull the pad off and touch it with my hand, how cool it was. That was what was boggling to me, because as people may or may not know, heat is the enemy when it comes to correcting paint. You want to try to keep that heat down. You want to keep that buildup down. So. When it came to cleaning the pad, it was a breeze by hand and by pad washer. So a very easy cleaning product.
Yeah, those are 2 main things on my list as well, because I'm a big microfiber user, and a lot of the products that I used before would start gumming the pads after maybe 3 or 4 section passes.
Yeah.
And I was forced to use a new pad because all the fibers were stuck down, and it just wouldn't lift up anymore. So. And initially, I wanted 0 dust, like no dust at all, like zero dust.
Yeah.
And that formula, it did cause some pad gumming. Yeah. So I had to back it up a little bit and say, you know what, I'll sacrifice a slight amount of dust at the end of the cycle, to aid the pad cleaning. So that in turn, made it low dust. So while you're actually working the product on the paint, if your pad stays flat, you will get no dust. But then once the product fully dries, then it will release to aid your pad cleaning. And I've even done a test I used 1 microfiber pad to correct an entire car just to see if it's possible.
Yeah.
And it was I still use multiple pads now that I know it works. But just for testing purposes, I used 1 pad just to see if it would go through the entire process, and I was able to do it. Yeah. And that would have never been possible before with all the other stuff I've been using.
Yeah. Sounds like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it really is. Because I don't know if people that are listening here, if you have a Rupes and you've thrown on a microfiber pad, you know how hot that can get with most of their compounds and polishes. Just saying, even with the Optimum Hyper Polish, I put it on, and I had a lot of heat building up. I'm running that 21 Mark II, throw it on a speed setting of 4, and I'm getting a lot of heat buildup. And it was almost too much to where it was getting gummed up, and no amount of O&R or no amount of lubing up that area was really helping me. So that's why when I started using this on a microfiber pad, I'm like, I'm down to 2-step everything.
Literally.
I'm down just to do it as a precautionary thing because it works so well and I have so much working time and low heat. Why wouldn't I?
Once again, way more efficient.
So. Way more efficient. Yeah.
And when I'll touch one more thing too. The reason, you probably will get this question as well because the word glaze is on the bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
So the glazing portion is really what helps to keep the heat down. Because the reason why glaze is on the bottle is because it breaks down into a glaze. Okay. Not that it fills, of course. I put it on there based on the true meaning of the word.
Yeah. Okay.
So when it breaks down, it looks like just a film, over the paint, which looks like a glaze.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, you should probably take it off. The glaze has a bad name, fills, all this good stuff. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna keep it true to what it is, and I just need to get rid of all the old, old beliefs about.
Got to re-educate.
Re-educate people on what a glaze truly means at the end of the day, because.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this, like I said, when I first saw my results, I used it on an area of my Civic, my beater Civic, that was it's pretty scratched up, guys.
Bright red, you'll see it.
And it's bright red, you'll see it. And so I used it on a test spot on there, and like after I was done, I wiped it with paint prep. I wiped it with rubbing alcohol. I wiped, because I couldn't believe that I'd actually corrected that. I'm like, I got to see, what filled and what didn't. And so, I mean, I kept wiping, and I was like, okay, guys, like, realistically, this is probably the best I'm gonna get. This is awesome. This is really, really good stuff.
Yeah, because I can hear people screaming Glaze in the comments, just you want to clear the air on that one for sure. So that's cool. Yeah,
very cool. I think this has been awesome, Jace. Thank you, thank you so much for talking with us. This has been great.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah,
appreciate the opportunity to be on here.
Yeah, we're excited to go into business with you. Put it that way.
So you'll be back on here too. Don't worry about that.
And next time we would like to have you up here.
Yeah, in person.
We would like to have you sitting with us
right
here, doing a couple of these bad boys.
Yep, we definitely have you. So
right there.
Yeah, right on.
Problem.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Well, there you go. Check out the last cut on the site now. Pick it up.
And check out the 500K detail to see it in action if you are wondering what it looks like.
Yep. And you can also just search the last cut on Facebook, and you'll see
everybody
all the
that's using it. All the greats.
Jace is talking about using it and their work, and even Jace's work.
And you have an Instagram, Jace, that people can see a lot of the after shots.
Yeah, so my Instagram is at the last detail NV for Nevada. So just the last detail NV.
God,
and
that's
I'll have
awesome.
years and years. All the tests I've done will be on my Instagram as well as other customers using the product and me myself use it, because I use it every single day.
Yeah, very cool.
So, I'll put that up on the screen and a link in the description. So if you look down there, you'll be able to see it and follow along with Jace as he keeps making stuff shine.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Anyway, guys, I guess that clears it up. Thanks so much for being on, Jace. And till next time, this has been Detox.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, guys.